Hello, Pacific League fans and fans to be. I'm Gabe Lerman, the voiceover guy from the Top 20 Plays videos. I've scoured the internet for English speaking fans of each of the six Pacific League teams to try and convince you why you should cheer for their club. This is Making the Pitch
2023, which belongs to me, your host, Jimbo Bernicki.
I was wondering why I didn't have control of the meeting.
Yep,
you
that's right.
Set me up, Buster.
I'm in charge this time. They put me in charge because Gabe has much better things to do with the highlight videos, but I will be in charge of recruiting the many and wonderful new fans.
I'm a little bit peeved, but what did you just put me on the spot for, Jimbo?
Well, everyone knows that you are one of the biggest, most dedicated Orix Buffaloes fans on the net, so I thought you should be the subject of today's interview.
I admit it's something of an open secret. Although I do announce for the Midnight Matinee and I can cheer for any Pacific League team on a given day, the Buffaloes are my first love in the PL. And I've enjoyed immensely being a fan of theirs, especially over the last two seasons.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't accuse you of being a front runner. Just it's a crazy coincidence that of all the teams you could have possibly picked, it happens to be the two-time defending champions. But I digress. You picked the right team.
Hey, give me credit. I saw Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitch at the Kyocera Dome in May 2019, before he became the god that he is now.
Man, that's putting it lightly, honestly. Like, I'm really into like baseball stats and history, and just when you compare these seasons he's been having to other people, it's eye-watering stuff. Like, he is on a tear right now, and hopefully he can keep it up for this season. I even say this as a non-Buffaloes fan. Like, I just want to see that man keep pitching.
If memory serves, no other pitcher in NPB has had back-to-back pitching triple crowns. Who's going to stop him from getting a third?
Might be a guy named Roki Sasaki. I don't know. I think you might have something to say about that. All right. So, let's start from the usual beginning point. This is probably the easiest question you're going to see. What did you think of last season for your Buffaloes?
So, this was a season that showed the resilience of the Buffaloes organization. They led the Pacific League only on the last day of the season when it counts by dint of a tiebreaker over the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. The team went down 2-0-1 because ties are a thing in the Japanese postseason. In the Japan Series rematch up against the Yogurt Birds, they lost their ace to injury in game one. And then they storm back and win 4 in a row. Masataka Yoshida, walk-off bomb. The bullpen holding down the forts in a close game in game 6. And then Ryo Ota, the future phenom, with a first pitch leadoff home run in game 7 to silence the crowd in Tokyo. And then holding on for dear life to see that 5-0 lead become a 5-4 lead. Former Blue Jay Jacob Wagaspak slamming the door in the 9th. As a Torontonian, I just had to give a double fist pump for that one.
Yeah, no, it was honestly a magical season, to say the least. It was, somebody who's following the Marines, just seeing the Buffaloes be at about the same point in the standings when I started watching, and then to see you guys win and us not win. It was pretty impressive, though, honestly. Just like one hell of a run by the Buffaloes at the end of the season there.
It is an exciting time to be a Buffaloes fan, especially after wandering the desert for some 20 so years. I'm not going to get into the whole history. It's not really worth getting into, but this is the marriage of Hideo Nomo's old club and Ichiro's old club. They hadn't won the Japan Series since that Ichiro-led team in the mid-90s. And for it all to come together under the shadow of a pandemic, Kyocera Dome is going to be vibrating with noise.
Oh, man.
This season.
It's going to be crazy. I can't wait to see it. So, I mean, other than winning the title, what would you say was your favorite moment of last season? If you could pick
I had one
up?
date circled around in red in my calendar. Yoshinobu Yamamoto's no-hitter on June 18th, 2022.
Yeah.
In a season that saw 5 no-hitters. Nao Higashihama, Shota Imanaga, Cody Ponce, and some kid by the name of Roki Sasaki who pitched a 19 strikeout perfecto.
Whatever.
You always knew Yoshinobu Yamamoto was capable of it, but it's great that he was finally able to check that box in what has been a run of absolute dominance since the 2020 season. Yes, he's likely headed to the major soon, but until then, every game he starts is must-see TV, and you'll be able to catch him in the World Baseball Classic. He's the best pitcher in Japan, bar none.
Yeah, well, I don't know about bar none. I'd say one of two, one of the two best pitchers in Japan. That's how I feel anyway. But so how did you become a fan of the Orix Buffaloes? You said you've been a fan for a while, it seems. So how did you find yourself here?
So I was drawn to the team because previously of how run down the organization was. There's a fondness for lovable losers in baseball. You get attracted to teams that really try to do well, especially teams that are sort of the second child in their geographic area. The railways company felines really do run the Kansai area. The Buffaloes are sort of the second choice of the two, but they have just as dedicated fans as any. So I started playing as the Buffaloes in a video game on my computer. And that what got me attracted to some of the players in that organization, including Ryo Ota. I impressed a few people by knowing who he was before he had started his breakout season this year. And little did I know, I started playing as that team early 2021 or early 2021. Then they go on to make their run to the Japan series.
Yeah,
Then they go on and win the thing last year. So I think, ahead of the curve a little bit on the push for the Buffaloes. I often use a slightly uncouth phrase to cheer them on. I'm not sure if we can say it or if we'll have to swear it up, but on you Buffaloes became sort of my mantra. And it was fun to watch them gel together as a team. Manager Satoshi Nakajima did a fantastic job assembling a roster. And now that they've been able to win a Japan series without any foreign help, to win a Japan series without any foreign batters, now that they've signed Frank Schwindel and Marwin Gonzalez, they have that little extra pop in the bat so that you can take a little bit of the pressure off Yutaro Sugimoto and new signing Tomoya Mori, a former MVP in his own right.
Yeah, no, they look really stacked this year, honestly. I mean, personally, I think they're probably going to win the title again. What do you see for them in the upcoming season, prediction wise?
As long as the offense can follow along with the pitching, they are the best rotation in the nation. Yamamoto, Taisuke Yamaoka, Hiroya Miyagi, former Rookie of the Year, Daiki Tajima, Jacob Wagaspak, who I mentioned earlier, the Yamazaki pair of Sachiya and Soichiro. There's even more in the bullpen. This is an arm barn of a team. As long as they can score runs, they have a chance every single night. So yeah, I think a postseason spot is practically guaranteed. Pennant, we got to see how the Hawks have rearmed. That organization has always been deep.
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, they're definitely the Hawks are definitely one of the best run teams in the league. But
and again, came down to a tiebreaker last season.
Yeah,
got to be on our toes.
And so, who would you say is your favorite player on the Buffaloes right now?
Yeah, Yamamoto's the guy who's on the back of my jersey. But as someone who does the top 20 plays of the week for the Pacific League, Yuma Mune stands out as my favorite Buffalo and his defensive prowess at third base. He can get you 10 home runs a season and bat 280 with the bat, but what you get him for is basically he's a second shortstop. The cannon arm, the diving plays, and the fact that he learned all this while in Australia is all the more impressive. So I'd say if I was going to get a second jersey, it'd be Mune 6 on the back.
Wow, little shout out to our Australian fans there. That's really cool. And so finally, drum roll, please. It's now time for the most important question of the evening, the focal point of it all, the reason we are here today. Why should new MPB fans support your team? It's time for you to make the pitch.
If you are a fan of dominant pitchers, if you are a fan of an offense that can surprise you, and if you want to get in on the ground floor of the next dynasty in the Pacific League, join me in Buffalo Navy Blue.
And there you have it. That's more than enough reasons to join such a great club with such a great organization. I think one of the underrated aspects of the Buffaloes is the script on the jersey. The Orix, that looks clean as hell. It's a great look. And yeah, they're a great team, great stadium, and probably going to win the title again this year, I think. So there we go.
I mean, you're doing the sales pitch for me, Jimbo. I mean,
it's hard not to, even as a Marines fan, who I think they're going to do great this year. But Orix is the team to beat. I really do think they're gonna pull ahead of everyone this year. I think it could be even more dominant than how things went last year.
Yeah, that's the other consideration. Like you look at someone to keep an eye on for this season. Yuki Udagawa put up video game numbers in limited time in the stretch drive. How does a 0.81 ERA and a 2.1 FIP with a 36.8 K rate sound in 20 or so innings pitched? And then in the postseason, in 6 games, 15 strikeouts, no earned runs. He was as strong of a part in that Buffalo's bullpen as you can possibly get. He's going to be a secret weapon for the Japanese team in the World Baseball Classic, and he's the heir apparent to Yoshihisa Hirano's closer job. So if the Buffaloes keep finding arms like this, who knows where their ceiling is?
I mean, maybe they're the Hawks 2.0 and they're about to go on just like a decade run for all we know. It could happen.
Mark my words, Osaka will be a Buffalo's town by the time 2030 rolls around.
Well, there you have it. I would like to thank you immensely for giving me the time. I know you're a very busy man with the top 20 plays and all that, but thank you so much for coming down to my humble abode of the Making the Pitch Series 2023. And yeah, again, thanks a lot for your time. And I thought this went really well.
I like what you've done with the place, Jimbo. Don't ruin the decor. I'll be back next year.
Sounds good.
Like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube-y stuff. There's more where this came from with Jimbo at the helm. Enjoy and see you in the season.
Bye-bye.